Have any comments? Nobody on the sheet? Nobody boards and committees?
And then I talked to you and the president were great.
Right, he couldn't get on.
He can get on the case.
You want to just think?
Well, yeah, you just want to thank the, police department and the city of Wetumpka for, a good day. On June 26th, and Juneteenth, we had a good day. We had hiccup there for a minute, but, the police department, so, it was fine.
And that was just because we had booked somebody and had a wedding going on up there.
And she was in a, whoo.
Yeah,
But,
well, she got her money back, so we went through that. Got a free wedding.
I tell you.
Okay, well, I'm glad it went well, and I thought it was a good location to do it.
Perfect location.
Looked like y'all had a big crowd too, I drove by.
We plan on making it an annual event, so.
Good. Okay, our agenda items for today, under old business, permission to enter into contract with Elmo County Commission to pave the visitors parking area at the new sports complex. Justin has that. Any questions on that?
Well, I was going to ask you. Of course, there's the ditch that's there, which they approved a great deal for what we'll start with. Is that ditch still gonna be there?
Yeah, we're
Valley there.
A little valley, it's not very much, but you can drive through
yeah, we're planning on improving it, putting a concrete flume down it so that it's not as exaggerated. So we'll bring it up and drain it better on concrete.
it. Thank you, I just had to notice it just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then item 2, under old business, permission to enter into an agreement with the county to pave and stripe as needed North Bridge Street from Hopeful Highway to the sports complex. That would be the entrance. Northwest Main from Osceola to Hopeful Highway, and Hopeful Highway from the 14 bypass to Mechanical. Justin, you got that again? Any questions on this? Okay. And then under new business, item 3, ordinance 2021 surplus ordinance for airport property. This is the first time on the agenda, and Justin, this would be the property that we are, the old
Arrowhead Plastics.
Arrowhead Plastic property that we'll be surplusing, and then the money that comes out of this has to go back into the airport. So for whatever the needs are at the airport, whatever they want you to do.
And then we need to probably suspend the rules for that ordinance, because we want to go ahead and get the sale done.
Okay. When we get there, somebody remember that. Okay, and then item 4, through sales contract for the airport property, the same property. Then item 5, award HVAC preventative maintenance contract to the lowest bidder, and that's Allen Heating and Cooling LLC. Same one that has had it, he was the cheapest one. And then item 6, approve Coosa River Art Expo, hosting Art Expo fundraiser at the Farmers Market property on July 9, 2021. And this fundraiser is, I believe, from what I've read, is money that goes back into the city for the Riverwalk. Was that it?
Yes, our river improvement.
For the Riverwalk improvements. So I think we're getting closer and closer to putting the surface on that Riverwalk. So those are the items that we have, and so we'll move forward. And invocation will be, I'll call the meeting to order. Invocation be given by Councilperson Tucker and a pledge by Councilperson Justice.
Let us bow. Father God, we thank you for allowing us to come here together to do the work of the city. We thank you, Lord, for everything that you do. Thank you for allowing everyone to have a safe and pleasant holiday. These and all blessings we ask in your son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We really still been studying and stammering around, wasn't it? Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Robin?
Here.
Councilmember Tucker?
Here.
Councilmember Justice?
Here.
Councilmember Gant?
Here.
Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Mayor Willis?
Here. You have in your packets the minutes from the council meeting held on June 21st of 2021. Any corrections to those minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So those minutes have been approved. Under old business, permission to enter into contract with the Elmore County Commission to pave the visitors parking area at the new sports complex. We'll entertain a motion for this.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that permission has been granted. And item 2, permission to enter into agreement with the county to pave and stripe as needed North Bridge Street from Hopewell Highway to the sports complex, Northwest Main from Osceola to Hopewell Highway, and Hopewell Highway from 14 bypass to Mechanical. We'll entertain a motion for this.
So moved.
Okay. Okay. Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that too has been granted permission to move forward. Under new business, ordinance 2021 surplus ordinance for airport property. This is the first read.
Motion to suspend the rules and bring up immediately.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to suspend the rules and to bring it up immediately. We have a second, first, motion and a second. So roll call.
Councilmember Robin?
Yes.
Councilmember Tucker?
Yes.
Councilmember Justice?
Yes.
Councilmember Gant?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Willis?
Yes. Rules having been suspended, we will move forward with adoption of the ordinance, but I'd like to have the ordinance read.
Need to read it in. Ordinance 2021 dash to be determined. An ordinance to authorize the conveyance of the Wetumpka Airport property lying north of Highway 14, located at 1142 Alabama Highway 14, Elmore, Alabama, to Arrowhead Plastic Engineering Incorporated. Pursuant to section 114720 Code of Alabama 1975 as amended, be it ordained by the council of the city of Wetumpka, Alabama as follows. Whereas the city of Wetumpka is the owner of approximately 15.81 acres of real property, the property located at 1142 Alabama Highway 14, Elmore, Alabama, which is more particularly described below. Whereas on January 23, 1948, the United States government under the Surplus Property Act of 1944 conveyed the airport property, Elmore Auxiliary Number 2 to Gunner Field, to the city of Wetumpka by deed recorded in the Office of Judge of Probate of Elmore County, Alabama, in deed book R73, page 39, subject to certain requirements and restrictions, and stated that the property shall be used for public airport purposes. The United States government additionally executed a supplement deed on April 8, 1948, which is recorded on R73, page 505 in the aforesaid office. The deeds provided included a restriction that no property transferred shall be used, leased, sold, salvaged, or disposed of by the city for other than airport purposes without the written consent of the Civil Aeronautics Administrator, and that such consent would only be given under certain circumstances. And whereas the mayor for the city of Wetumpka sent a letter dated May 8, 2019 to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, requesting the property be released from its federal obligations. And whereas the FAA granted said release upon certain terms and conditions and executed a deed of release granting the property unto the city, removing the restrictions placed upon the property by those deeds recorded Deed Book R73, page 39, and R73, page 505, in the Office of the Judge of Probate, Emerald County, Alabama. And whereas previously on July 20th, 1989, the city entered into a lease for what is now known as the Arrowhead property with MCP Incorporated for use as a manufacturing business. Said lease agreement was made subject to approval by FAA and Alabama Department of Aeronautics. The lease was approved and site has been used by manufacturing since that time. This lease was assigned to Arrowhead Plastics Engineering Incorporated on July 6, 1995. It was amended on April 30th, 2019 to extend the term of the lease, change the rental rate, and for other purposes. And whereas the city of Wetumpka is not presently using the property and the council of the city of Wetumpka has determined that the property is not needed for municipal purposes at this time and that it should be declared surplus. And whereas the council of the city of Wetumpka desires for the property to be utilized in a manner that would benefit and serve the city and its citizens and serve an industrial purpose and serve the community by providing employment opportunities. And whereas Arrowhead Plastics Engineering Incorporated, Arrowhead, is involved in manufacturing and industrial development of plastic and fiberglass products and has submitted a purchase and sale agreement unto the city for consideration by the city council. And whereas the city believes that the conveyance of the property to Arrowhead for the purposes stated herein and in accordance with the purchase and sale agreement would serve a valid public purpose and would result in an increase of the availability of jobs to the citizens of our city and the county. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Wetumpka that the property as described above is not needed for municipal purposes at this time and is hereby declared surplus property. And further, that the public interest shall be improved by its conveyance to Arrowhead in accordance with and subject to the following conditions. Section 1. The city shall convey the property to Arrowhead Composites and Thermoplastics, a division of Arrowhead Plastic Engineering Incorporated, a Delaware limited liability company under the following terms. A, the city shall quit claim the property to Arrowhead for the uses delineated herein and authorized under its organizational statute, subject to the following reservations, easements, covenants, and restrictions, which shall be upon the property in perpetuity and shall run with the land to wit. 1. The city of Wetumpka, Alabama, reserves unto itself, its successors, and its assigns for the use and benefit of the public a right of flight for the passage of aircraft in the airspace above the surface of the real property, hereinafter described, together with the right to cause in said airspace such noise as may be inherent in the operations of aircraft now known or after used for navigation of or flight in the said airspace, for use of said airspace for landing on or taking off from or operating on Wetumpka Municipal Airport. 2. The height of the structures, objects of natural growth, and other obstructions on the hereinafter described property shall be restricted to a height so as to comply with Federal Aviation Regulations Part 77. 3. As any use of the hereinafter described real property which would interfere with the landing or takeoff of aircraft at Wetumpka Municipal Airport or interfere with the air navigation or communication facilities serving Wetumpka Municipal Airport or otherwise constitute an airport hazard is prohibited. 4. No access shall be permitted from the subject property onto Wetumpka Municipal Airport property for aeronautical purposes. 5. This property is restricted for industrial use only. B. Arrowhead shall pay unto the city the appraised fair market value of the property which has been determined to be $280,000, and Arrowhead shall pay all closing costs required for the consummation of the sale. The purchase and sale agreement, C, the purchase and sale agreement is hereby approved with such modifications as may be deemed necessary by the mayor and the city attorney to reflect the terms and purposes of this ordinance, and the environmental covenants in the purchase and sale agreement shall survive said contract and shall benefit the city of Wetumpka. Section 2. Pursuant to the authority granted by Section 114720 of the Code of Alabama 1975 as amended, the mayor and city clerk shall be and hereby are authorized and directed to execute and attest respectively said statutory warranty deed for and on behalf of the city of Wetumpka, Alabama, and furthermore, the mayor is hereby authorized to execute the purchase and sale agreement on behalf of the city. Section 3. If any provision of this ordinance shall be declared unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, it shall have no effect on the remaining provisions of this ordinance. Section 4, this ordinance shall become effective upon the adoption and publication as required by law. Adopted and approved, signed by the mayor.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve the ordinance.
Second.
Let's do a roll call.
Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Councilmember Tucker?
Yes.
Councilmember Justice?
Yes.
Councilmember Dan?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Willis?
Yes. Ordinance having been approved, we'll move to item 4 under new business, is to approve the sales contract for the airport property. And you pretty well just heard it right there.
Yeah, $280,000. They pay closing costs.
So we need a motion to move forward with this.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Could we do the roll call again?
Councilmember Robbins.
Yes.
Councilmember Tucker.
Yes.
Councilmember Justice.
Yes.
Councilmember Gant.
Yes.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Mayor Willis.
Yes. Okay, a long time coming.
Can, occupancy rate out there now that they purchased it, hopefully the occupancy rate will go up.
Didn't have anything to do with you.
Two different properties.
This is the property across the street.
Right, but I mean, there's some empty buildings out there now that they purchased it, now that they own it, they'll probably.
They can expand their business, which is the plastics company. They can expand their business and employ more people in there, but it doesn't have anything to do with the operation of the airport. It's totally out of the airports.
No, but I'm just talking on that property, there's quite a few buildings, and like one time someone was gonna lease one of them, and they didn't. Because and I can remember from that time, there was quite a few of them that weren't being used, to where now that they own it, they'll probably start using the
Well,
buildings.
I'm sure that's what the hopes and dreams of the person who bought the property would be, to expand into it. But it still has to meet the qualifications that was given and spelled out in the sales contract. It can't be just anything that goes out there.
Like industrial use.
It has to be industrial use.
Mayor.
Actually, he has a.
You want to stand up where I can hear you?
Actually, the owner, Mr. Tom Kitchell with American Plastics, has a industrial, cabinet shop that will be moving out there, moving from Montgomery, a large cabinet shop. So there'll be jobs already. We're waiting on this situation to go through before they finalize that.
Okay, and Julie, and I don't see Julie. Julie and Lynn, $280,000, because there is a desire, that there's a need out there to build new hangars, to build some additional hangars out there. So this money could be used to pay.
Yes, sir. When we built those 5 hangars out there, there was initially a plan for a 6th one and actually a place for it. So the hope is that we can get the older buildings torn down that are to the right of the FBO, and then relocate those people to a brand new hangar, because they'll be displaced, but kind of working side by side. But we need more grassy tie-down area too, so the removal of those older buildings, the plane court and then the older hangar, which they both stay damaged from high winds and everything, but get those out of the way and have more tie-down space, and then move those people to the hangar, and we still will have veterans.
Great. I finished that. Okay. Item 5, award HVAC preventative maintenance contract to the lowest bidder. That's Allen Heating and Cooling LLC. Have a motion to move. Okay. I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion on this? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so that has been awarded. And then item 6, approve Coosa River Art Expo, hosting Art Expo fundraiser at Farmers Market property on July 9th, 2021. We just felt like that with everything that's happening now and the facilities that we have, that the council needed to be aware of this and ask for your approval of these functions that we have. So do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
I'll tell you guys, you gotta quit sleeping on the job. These girls are killing you. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that too has been granted. Okay. Hope everyone had a great holiday weekend, so long as 4th of July ever had. But seemed like it just went on forever and ever. But, a lot of interesting folks still coming to Wetumpka. We had people here today from Houston, Texas, that, they were very pleased with our city and put some beautiful pictures on Facebook. People from all over coming. Last week to see the two of us just roll in and start unloading 70 and 80 people at a time. It's amazing. So hopefully our businesses are doing well. That should reflect in some sales tax revenues. So we will see. But, thank you for what you do, and thank you for your willingness to serve. Are you going to be signing autographs shortly after? Need a motion to adjourn? Thank you. We'll stand adjourned.